Once again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I am Divya from Relativity Management Solutions India Private Limited. I would like to invite Mrs. Geeta Murugan to talk about relativity. Mrs. Geeta is Associate Vice President and heading Business Development Team at Relativity over 10 years now. So it's over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay, today's session we are going to see for first 5 minutes about what relativity is into and who we are and what we do, what specialization we have. Clients mostly call us as compliance experts. We are having these service lines like payroll processing and their audits, QTDS compliance and their audits, statutory compliance and its audits, CA and ROC services, tax compliance and its audits, digital form 16 issuance. We are 13-year-old in this industry, and the main values that we carry is the quality. As you see, the business we are into, quality is the main thing that we are supposed to provide in terms of accuracy and error-free services. So quality comes into first value for us, and any business integrity is definitely the required thing for a company. So hence integrity is also part of the things that we are into. And excellence with passion, I would say, even when we are recruiting our new employee, we see for the passion that they have in what they are up to join. And that's how we try to build in the organization culture where we have excellence and passion in what they do with our employees. So our values to put together quality, integrity, and excellence with passion is something that we don't compromise. So team of professionals, yes, these are the team of professionals that we have. Chartered accountants, we have payroll specialists, we have taxation experts, we have labor law advocates, we have audit practitioners. Along with them, we also have other ancillary team members who support us. And these are the main functional experts that we have in relativity. Here are some of the clients, key clients, I would say. Big names, if you can see, Cisco, LMW, Infineon, Polaris, Oracle. There are multiple industries that we work with. The main industries that we work are IT, ITES, and other ancillary products from IT and manufacturing, electricals, electronics, semiconductors. All these are industries that we predominantly work with. Okay, so relativity solution to large enterprises specifically. I mean, before reading out the list of service lines, I would like to just point out what difference we bring into large enterprises so that it becomes very relevant. So large enterprises, the main thing that you might face is like you might have existing systems and vendors or processes that are running already, but then where comes the real integrity is about the customizations that you require, that your existing partners or existing vendors are not able to provide. Relativity comes into picture, and where we are sitting with large enterprises, we analyze the existing systems and processes that they have. And then we try to see what customization they really require. We try to do the customization specific to them, to their requirements, and we give the services to them. So that's the big difference that we bring into large enterprises. And of course, the service lines are this end-to-end ETDS management, end-to-end payroll lodgement management, and then Form 16 digitalization and distribution works, PF management and its compliance. These are the service lines that we support large enterprises specifically. And then to mid-size enterprises, of course, the mid-size enterprises, the main thing that you might encounter as problem is about the scalability and the versatility the vendor has. in these service lines. So along with you, the vendor should also be growing and supportive to you when you are growing. So mid-sized companies definitely look for these qualities, which Relativity is much capable, and we are able to support the mid-sized enterprises in that aspect. And end-to-end payroll processing, statutory compliance and benefit management, end-to-end compliance audits, end-to-end management of payroll lodgement services, digitalization and distribution, payroll process compliance, and integrity audits. So these service lines we do specifically for mid-sized enterprises. And to small companies, we definitely do everything for them. The main difference that we bring into small companies is that small companies will have resources who are not able to actually support in terms of proactive decisions, in terms of advisory, and in terms of the complete frameworks and things like that, where we come into picture, and being the expertise in the service lines, payroll service, and taxation, whatever you take in this verticals, we provide the advisory, we are proactive, and we take a complete management of all these 4 service lines. So that's how we support small companies. And these are some of the facts. We are 13 plus years in the industry, and now it is like 155 clients plus, and we are counting. And 12 lakh transactions per quarter we do, and 99.49 is our accuracy rate. 16 plus cities that we are operating. 4 plus 7, 6 lakhs of Form 16s issued. And one more thing missing here is our client retention rate, which is 99.98%. Please team add next time in this slide. 99.98% of client retention also we have, which ultimately gives us the compliance expert's name to us. That's about some of the facts that Relativity owns.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your brief explanation. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Padmajyoti. She's leading the team of payroll and taxation at Relativity over 13 years now. She is an enthusiastic human being interested in change initiatives and diversity at work. It's time to start our webinar presentation. Let's start, and over to you, Mrs. Padma.
Thank you, Divya, for the introduction. Is it I'm audible now?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Once again, and I'm welcoming you all for this webinar on tax proof submission, tax proof collection and verifications. As you are aware that this is the time, the half of the financial year have been completed, and most of the organizations in the industries will start collecting the proofs from the month of December itself. I think now it's the time to think about what is mean by how we can do this activity, and how we can done it in a better way to improve the employee experience, and what are the small things that we have to concentrate to have a better clarity on the process, and how we can today. This is about the taxes for the employees, ensure the taxes have been corrected accurately, how we are going to do it. That is what webinar we are going into. The agenda was numbered while planning for tax proof collection, what we do, and finally we are having a Q&A session. Before that, I will just to understand about the participants profile, I am just running a poll. I just want you to respond to it. Can you able to see the poll? Based upon this poll is about the participants profile. Based on that, I can able to align and questions in the upcoming slides which we had, so that I can able to give what is required for your profile. We have received 50% of the response. Let's wait for some more time to others also to be responded. Okay, we have received most of the responses. Thank you for your response. So I will just, so in this webinar, we have most of the participants are belongs to the HR team and 62% something. And from finance also, we are having some participants. And then organization headcount, if you are thinking, and I think most of the company's size, it belongs to 100 to 500. And that next to it, we are having less than 100 headcount employee organization team members, and above 1,000 we are having around 17 percentage. Thank you for your response. So as I said earlier in this webinar, we are going to discuss about the small items which we have to, which will lead to which will lead to a better experience as well as for the employee and from the organization end also. So that is what we are going to discuss in detail about it. If you have any questions in the mid of the presentations, I would request you to put it on a chat box so that. Sorry, the screens have been stopped and some. Can you able to see my screen now? So in today's agenda, we are going to discuss about the tax proof collections and verification, and that what are things that we have to be remembered and what we have to do. And finally, we will have a Q&A session. In this, if in mid of the presentation, if you have any doubts, please put it in the chat box. We will discuss it on later. I will explain about how we are computing the tax for being out throughout the industry. So this, from the employees, we will get a declaration, and based on that, we will deduct the taxes. And also in the end of the financial year, as per the Income Tax Act, it is employer responsibility to collect and make and validate all the proofs and provide the necessary exemptions which are applicable to that employee and to recompute the tax. So for this, most of the companies in the end of the financial year means some of the companies will start this process from the month of December. Some of them maybe start from the month of January. But at the least, we have to, while closing the financial year, for all the exemptions that have been provided to an employee, for this, employer has to maintain the bills. If there is any questions asked from the department in the later on years, the employer has to submit it. So we will do this activity in the end of the financial year. So in the next item is, so before starting into a tax proof collection or verification activity itself, we have to finalize certain things. So now we are going to look on what and all things that we have to finalize. So first, if we are thinking about how are we going to collect the tax proofs. I want you people to provide the response, whether are you going to do it in online or offline in the chat box. Most of the people have responded online. and some people have responded they are doing it in both the way, and some of them have responded in offline. Okay, thank you for the responses. Okay. So if I'm going to do it in an online, then what and all things that I have to think? First, we have to finalize tool, and in the tool, what I'm going to do, how I am. In the tool also, there are some basic necessities that we have to think. So, what and all things that we have to measure, we have to need it in the tool that we will discuss in later. That I'm having it in the upcoming slide. And in offline, how we are going to collect it, how we are going to collect the proofs from the employees. That is what we have to plan it. And the next question is, from which payroll are you going to consider the proofs for tax calculations? You put on the response in the chat box what you are currently following it up until last year. So based on that, we can discuss on that item. We have received one responses like Jan to March. I'm expecting more responses from others. Feb and March payroll and January. Some people are doing it between December to Feb and FY basis Jan to March. Most of the responses is belongs to Jan to March from the, and some people are doing it on actual payment basis. Okay, and FY basic is also there. And okay, so then we will see what is the best way that we can do it. For example, if we are having a organization plus in the case, then we would recommend that we have to do it. The tax proof has to be considered provided by the employee in the earlier months. That can be adjusted. Better to go with Jan to March for the employee size to whom we are having more than 1,000. So that is the better way. And for the less, someone have mentioned your voice is not clarity. Is it okay now? Can you able to hear me better? Okay, so I will repeat it once again. So for the organization whose organization headcount, if it is more than 1,000 plus, then it is recommended to consider the proof for the tax computation from the month of January itself. So that if there was any excess declarations that have been done by the employee in the start of the financial year, which can be adjusted in the month of Jan, Feb, and March. There was a 3 months, so that we can able to adjust it. If I'm not able to do it, no, sometimes there will be a negative salary which we have to process for that employee. In between, there was his voice is breaking. Is it okay now? Now it is fine. Is it fine now? Okay, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. So what we would recommend is, from the relativity side, we would request to consider the proof from the month of January itself, so that if there is any excess declarations which is made by the employee, can be adjusted in the upcoming months, so that there will not be any shortfall of the tax deductions. So we are recommend, if it is less than 500 or 100 plus employees, then you can, if it is less than 500 or 100 plus employees, then you can take this proof mode from the month of February itself, from Feb and March, that you can able to do it. And the next question is, how long you are opening the submission window for the employees? Are you opening for the 10 days or 15 days, or opening for 30 days like that? Can you put your response on the chat box so that we can discuss on it? 15 days and 20 days, 10 days. Okay. Most of people have submitted, have mentioned that they are opening for 15 days, and some people have mentioned 2 cycles and they are opening between 2 cycles for 15 days and 30 days and first 15 days, 10 days. Okay. Here I would mean the submission window opening means there will be a multiple submissions window that we will open. For example, in some cases, we will open in the month of December end, and in the March also, March first week, we will open to which will allow the employees to submit the investments which is made in the month of February if they want to add some other proofs like that. So it is better to have a 2 cycles, and 1 cycle which may have it in the month of December, and the other cycle which will have it in the first week of March, so that employees will able to submit all the proofs for considering tax in the to the employer itself. And for example, for a submission window, if it is in a 10,000 plus headcount organization, then it is recommended to have for the 30-day cycle, because in the December month, if I'm opening the tool, right, as you are aware, the company annual shutdown also will be there. Annual shutdown will be there, so that most of the employees will go on vacations and some people will be on leave. So the exceptional cases will come in the January month. To avoid this, for employee size which is more than 10,000, it is recommended to have a 30 days window cycle, windows period, and less than that, it is recommended to have 15 days, and then it will be easier for everyone to submit the proofs on the time. And then I just want to know, is there any detailed documentations or guidelines that we are providing to employees? Like what and all exemptions is available, how you can claim it, like that. Is there any documentations that you are providing to the employees? Yes. So I have received responses from 4 to 5 people. It is yes, they are sharing some of the documentations. Okay, then that's a good idea, because employee will have employee doesn't know about all these taxes, right? So it will be better for them to go through and what and all tax exemptions it is available, and based on that they can also submit it. Okay. And then next we are going to see about what and all things that we have to concentrate. As I mentioned in the earlier side, we are communicating to the employees with a certain guidelines. What in that guidelines, what and all things that is mandatory required to be considered while I'm preparing itself. First thing, we have to check whether the guidelines is aligned with the Income Tax Act. Every financial year, Income Tax Department will release a circular how to deduct taxes for the salary people. For this financial year, it has not been released yet. For the previous, we can refer to the previous year circular. Based on that, we can prepare the guidelines, like what and all things that employer has to consider and what and all proof it has to be claimed. And also, second thing we have to look on, for example, some people doesn't know what is the eligibility criteria to claim certain exemptions. For example, Sukanya Samriddhi schemes and all. There are some eligibility criteria is there. I have only it can be claimed for the girl children. So like that, what and all conditions and what and all eligibility list is there that has to be included in the guidance. Detailedly, it has to be mentioned. And the next one is proofs which is required. What is the proof I'm going to accept? Because based on this, the validations and queries and everything has to be addressed. This proof required has to be in a very detailed manner, and it has to tell to the employees, this is what these are the proofs that is required to claim the exemptions. And also, we can, to give a better clarity to an employee, we can also include like what proofs that which are not acceptable. For example, some employees will submit the account statement of a Sukanya Samriddhi account or public provident fund. In that, if you are looking into it, there will not be an account type itself in the documents that we are getting. but for validating purpose, these things are required. So those things, those items that we can mention in proofs which are not acceptable like that. Whatever the transaction statement that they are providing, it should have the account type and the account holder name. This is the mandatory thing, right? So these little things, if we are concentrating on more, we can avoid rejections, so that the employee query will reduce, and then employees also have a better clarity what I have to submit. If I submit this proof, this will not be considered like that. So the next thing is how we can handle the rejections. We cannot tell whatever the proofs that I am employee is submitting that will be 100% correct, and we have to accept 100%. There will be some rejections will be happen. So how I can handle the rejections? So these are the things. There are 3 items we have to look on it while handling the rejections. Once I'm rejecting it, first I have to communicate to the employee this proof that we have rejected, so that employee will aware of that proof and they can take the necessary step. First, we have to give the awareness to them regarding the rejections. And next thing is, while I'm communicating to the employee, this is what I have rejected. In the same communication itself, we can include what is the next action item that employee can take it out. I will tell one cases. For most of the times in the housing loan, sometimes employee will submit the last year provisional certificate, which is not acceptable for this year. So what we will mention for the rejection handling, this document is not pertains to this financial year, so we are rejecting it. That is what we will communicate to the employees. Along with that, if we can include, if you submit the financial year 22-23 loan statement, the same will be considered. And what they have, if we have telling like that in proactively, employee cannot come back to us for the queries. Otherwise, what they will do, no, they will ask, if you have rejected, then what is the proof that you required? So that multiple employee queries will be raised. So by providing the next action item, we can give a clear path to the employees and the guidance to them, so that the queries will reduce. And have a cutoff dates. If, for example, here I'm mentioned as a cutoff dates, if we are processing the payroll on 20th, we cannot consider the proof submitted by the employee on 20th, right? So we will have a deliberate cutoff, like I will consider the proof which we have received until 15th. That is what will be considered for this month. And the same can be informed to the employee at the earliest itself. While I'm sending this communication itself, I can tell the employees the proofs that we are receiving before 15th only will be considered for this payroll cycle, and the other proofs and the proofs which we are receiving after 15th, it will be considered in the next payroll cycle. Like that, if we provide a communication, then employee will also aware of it. And to have a better employee experience, this is one of the area where employee will get involved more, because if we deduct more taxes, their cash flow will affect, and employee will concern about it. So they will write multiple escalations and they will write on multiple emails about it. So what and all things that we have to concentrate on this. First thing is awareness about the process. Before I am going for, if I'm going to start opening the window in the month of December 15th or 16th, like that itself, I have to tell the employee at least 2 weeks earlier itself, like this is the date that we are going to open the tool, and this is the process that you have to follow. From the day one itself, if we are very clear about the do's and don'ts, and if we send multiple reminders, and if we take the employee throughout the process, then we reduce, then employee will get much clarity. So will they do on the time itself. And second thing is email communications. Whatever I'm sending, even if we are sending multiple reminders, even if we will send about the tool opening and when it will open, how, what and all guidelines that we are going to do. The communications also very, it has to be very crisp and clear. Employees should aware about what and all do's that they can do and what and all don'ts that we have to do it. For example, if I am sending an email communications related of tool submission window opening, in that email itself, if we have stated this is the period that I'm going to open the tool. After this, whatever proof that we are going to, if we are receiving after this period, it will not be considered this payroll, and it will be considered in the next payroll cycle. If this is the clear path that we are giving to an employee in the email itself, then employee will there will not be any exceptional request will come to the HRs or the payroll person, so that the process will be in a smoother way. And the third one is we have to create multiple reference documents. Here I'm reference documents means one will be the guidelines, and we can also create multiple FAQs. Employee must have some frequently questions that we have received in the last years and all, right. Based on that, if we created the multiple FAQs, one employee in a large organization, one employee will have a query. The same, if we have addressed through this FAQ, multiple employees can reach out to the refer the document, and they can also know what has to be done in the next step. So we have to create right FAQs and what is the user guide. If we are going to do it in online, how they have to process in each and every step, what they have to done in the step 1 and what they have to do it in the step 2. Like that, if we provide certain user guide PPT, it will be helpful for them. Whenever they want, they can go and refer to that document. And the final thing is releasing of mock tax computation report. Here, mock tax computation report means before I'm processing the payroll itself, I will release the ITCS or tax computation report, which tell the employee what is the tedious deductions that is going to be happened for this payroll. It's excluding the one-time payments. If there is any one-time payments, it may change. But through this tax computation report, employee can see the value of tedious which is going to be deducted. Even in certain cases, we also have understood multiple reminders that we will send. Employees will miss out these emails. They will not have put much attention those emails which we are sending for the reminders for submission or for the rejection and all. They will not concentrate on it. But once I release a tax computation report, an employee will see what is the TDS that I'm going to be TDS going to be deducted for this month. So in this case, they will have a limited time, so they can reach out to the payroll also. And if they have any queries, that can be sorted out. Otherwise, it will directly affect their net pay, and it will be an end of the moment. There will be a little upset that employee might have. So we can release mock tax computation report. And also this is very important thing, that if we give a proactively, if we give what is the TDS going to be deducted in the upcoming month, employee might happy about it, and they know what is the cash, what is the salary I'm going to get it for this month. So based on that, they can redefine their expenses, or they can redefine their financial plans. So these are the major items that we have to concentrate on the employee experience. And the next thing is how we are going to handling the employee queries. For example, we should have some employee query module. So in that, the employee can raise a ticket, or they can send out an email, or it may be in a chat box, so that we can track each and every queries, and it can be responded within the TAT or business hours that we are having. And predefined reply templates. So most of times we are receiving the same query from same type of query will be received from the different peoples, right? So I cannot give different types of reply to each and every one. So we can collect what are the regular queries that we are getting, and for that each query we can have a predefined reply templates, and we can use the template for that particular query. So based on this, due to this, what we can expect is we are not giving a different kind of solutions to based upon the employees to different employees. We are going to provide the same kind of solutions. So this will have a standardization throughout the organization. So There will not be any, we also have an idea, this is, for this kind of query, I am replied in this manner. So they will not come and tell this is what you have told like that. And then finally, we will have some virtual help desk and all. If still employee have some queries or direct queries that has to be discussed, that we can handle via virtual help desk. And also, I just want to know, is there any practice that you are having to releasing a mock TCR and like that you have done it in the last year? If you have done something like that, please mention it in the chat box. And we are receiving, some of people have mentioned no and yes. And if it's I think most of people have mentioned as no. I would recommend you to do it from, can you repeat the question? Do you guys release the mock TCR before the payroll is processing in the last year? Are you going to do it for this year also? If that's not the case, then you can do it, so that employee much aware of this, what is the TDS that is going to be deducted, and they can also validate the proofs whatever that I have submitted have been considered for the verification purpose. So, and the next thing is, actually, we are having a, in relativity, we are having a tax proof submission module, and I will just explain what and all features that we have. And also, if we are looking for a tool, and this tool has to be, features of a document is, upload documents of investment proofs online. Online itself, employee can upload all the documents, and employer's administrative access will be provided, and from then they can do an approval or rejections, and the detailed report which is required for considerations and for the analytics will be there. So that also that is one thing. And whenever we are doing verifications or rejections, or if we upload some of the proofs, then the auto emails will be triggered from the system itself. There is no need to send out that there is no need to send out the email separately, and we are sent an automated reminders for submissions or for completion of verifications, and 100% compliant. And the tool will have multiple tool will we have the tool will have multiple things, and it has have restrictions about how we can do an exemptions like that, and automatic calculations for better transparency and employee understanding. While the employee is submitting the proof itself, they can able to see what is the maximum exemptions limit that they can able to claim it, and they can also reach out to the guidelines in the tool at any time they can do it. And audit logs also, which is available, which can be used in the future for the tracking purpose. Before going into Q&A sessions, I just want you to, I'm going to run a poll. In that, I just want your feedback and feedback related feedback of this webinar. Hi, can you able to hear me? I have run the poll. Can you provide your responses here? We are waiting for your response. We have received response from 50% of people. Can you, for others, can you provide a response on this? Thank you for the feedback that you have been provided. I'm just ending out the poll. And now I will take out the questions which we are received via chat. I have received a query from Madhavi. I would like to know on the different tax exemption benefits acceptable and can be implemented. So the different tax exemption is, there are multiple sections is there. One is under section 10, what and all elements that you are providing, for that they can get an exemptions, and housing loans. And under section 60, under section 80C, for the investments like life insurance, PPF, and repayment of housing loan, Sukanya Samriddhi account. For that, the exemption employee can avail. And this is the huge list which we can share it separately to you, Madhavi. What is the link to this guidelines? Can you please share the guidelines with us? These things that you just drop out your email ID so that we can able to share it with you. Can you please tell me about TDS eligibility and cuttings? Okay, if an employee whose salary is more than 5 lakhs, for them, for the employees whose salary is more than 5 lakhs, for those peoples are eligible for the tax deductions. And for them, we have to collect the declarations, and based upon the declarations or proof at the end of the year, we have to recalculate it. And the total tax liability which the employee is getting, that has to be divided by the number of months, which is number of months in that pending in that financial year. Based on that, the TDS will be deducted. Can you share the checklist or format for proof submissions? Ajay Kutari, you are asking about that offline submissions or something about online submission that you wanted? That is a format that you are requesting. Is it I'm right? Okay. From Abhi, we have received, can we take all the, just a minute. Can we take all the supporting documents in digital form? Yes, we can maintain all the supporting documents in digital form. That has to be maintained for at least 7 years. We have to maintain the records for 7 years. After that, it's not required to maintain, but we can maintain all the documents in digital form actually. Can you please recap the points discussed in the sessions? I have joined late. Actually, we are having the webinar recording that will be shared once after this webinar is completed. Can you please provide me the standard amount for direct tax benefit under the applicable sections? Applicable sections means sections wise you are asking about the tax benefit. So that we will, for example, in 80C, the maximum limit is 1,50,000, and under housing loan, the maximum exemption that an individual can claim is 2 lakhs rupees. So these are the maximum standard amount that employee can get a tax benefit, and if they submitted the proof, And from the medical insurance, they can take it 25,000 for self, spouse, and children. And for the parents, they can take it for they can maximum limit is 50,000 if they are senior citizens. If they are not senior citizens, then the maximum exemptions will be provided for 25,000. Home loan top up getting benefit. A top up of a home loan, we can get an additional benefit, but in the document it has to be mentioned it is belongs to the housing loan. Otherwise, it is not. We cannot able to identify it. And also would like to know the reimbursement which can be implemented as a tax exemptions. Reimbursements, for example, we will have LTA and data card and mobile reimbursements, and some company we will have a vehicle operating expense reimbursements and car lease. So these are the basic reimbursements that we are having. Which can be for this, if employees submit the bills, then the tax exemptions will be provided. Manikant have asked TDS cutting on CTC or take home. Actually, tax will be calculated on the gross salary. It is not about the CTC or it's not about the take home. So whatever the gross salary that you are paying to an employee, that will be considered for the gross salary. That will be considered as an income. For that, the necessary taxes will be deducted. Can you please explain a bit about the rebate? Okay. The income tax slab is up to for 0 to 2.5 lakhs. There was no taxes will be deducted, and 2.5 to 5 lakhs, 5% of tax, and 5 to 10 lakhs, 20% tax rate will be calculated, and above 10 lakhs, 30% of tax, 30% taxes will be calculated. So for an employee who's for an individual who is having a taxable income less than 5 lakhs, for them there is a maximum rebate, tax rebate of 12,500, or the income tax for that particular, for that income, whichever is minimum, will be considered as a rebate under section 87A. So if you see in the whole concept, the employees whose taxable income is less than 5 lakhs, they will not come into there will not be any taxes applicable for them. What is the maximum donation amount exempted from tax? So in donations, there are multiple types of donations will be provided. Certain donations will be exempted for 100%, and certain donations will be exempted for 50%. So based upon the conditions, the maximum limit will be calculated. And also there is one upper limit that 10% of the gross total income of that individual should not, the donation amount should not exceed the 10% of the gross total income. If my gross total income is in 30 lakhs, the maximum donation that I can claim as an exemption is 3 lakhs only that I can claim. I hear that rent receipt should be taken in physical form with revenue stamp affixed to it. Is there any such requirement from income tax or any other statutory regulations? For rent receipt, we can, for whatever the rent paid, we can collect the receipt as a proof, correct? It should be handled in the physical form only. It has to be, they have to get a signature from the landlord. Otherwise, the employer doesn't know whether he is paying a rent or not. We can get it from anywhere. So the rent receipt is the only proof that employee can provide to claim the HRA exemptions. And it is also mentioned that the employer has to collect the rent receipt as per the circular that have been received earlier. And related to revenue stamp, in certain states, the revenue stamp it's not there at all. So if it is there, then some people they are recommending to do it. Otherwise, the landlord details and landlord signature itself enough to claim the rent HRA exemptions. Can we get the detailed or documents on reimbursement benefits? Can you just drop your email? Send it. Can you just drop your email, Sangam, so that we can able to share it? Do you have any tax calculation format? If so, can you please share? Tax calculation format, in the sense you are asking about the how the taxes will be calculated. If I'm giving the income, the tax has to be calculated automatically, correct? There are certain formats that we have, and also if you look into it, know that in income tax department website itself, the tax calculator is there. So that will be an easier one, and the format which we are having also, we will share it to you. Registered or notarized rent agreement along with landlord PAN card submission. It's compulsory for below 1 lakh HRA benefit. If you are if the rent paid is less than 1 lakh, then the rental agreement or landlord PAN card copy is not mandatory. Rent receipts itself enough to authenticate that I have made this expense like that. Could you share the tax calculation format for both the regimes that we will do it? What documents should we consider if employees claiming school fees for their children? To claim, we have to collect the school fee receipt, so that based on that receipt, that exemptions will be provided. And also in that case, the development or donations or something called maintenance fee, which are not acceptable as, which are not considered for the exemption part. So only thing is, we have to collect the tuition fees receipts, and it has to be belong to this financial form. Can rent receipt be digital form or physical form? It has to be in a physical form. The employer, that individual has to get a signature from the landlord, and they have to submit it. Would library fees receipt to be considered? Would, so in that, in Income Tax Act, it has been clearly mentioned the exclusion part. In that, they have mentioned donation, capitation, or any other fee like that would not be considered. They haven't mentioned anything about the library fees. So we can consider the library fees for the exemptions. What is the rent limit to have a rental agreement? In the best practice, most of the people are not collecting the rental agreement after the landlord details is become a mandatory, and all the employees has to submit the landlord PAN number like that. No, so it's not everyone is collecting. But if it is case you are going to collect, then you will have a limit. If it is more than 1 lakh, then rental agreement is required. Library fees will be tax-free under which section? Library fees means it's a tuition fee. It is one of the subset of the tuition fees that have been paid to the employees' children, right? So it will comes under the tuition fees for children's education. So under that subsection, under that ID list, we will calculate in the section of ATC. I think I have completed all the questions that have been asked in the chat. Is there any queries that you are having? Please put it. So maximum 100 per children. Okay. This 100 and 300, that is an allowance. So children expenditure allowance and hostel expenditure allowance is the maximum limit of 100 per month per children and 300 per children per month. And if you see, there is another exemption point. One is under section 80C, expenditure made towards children education. In that, we can claim the tuition fees or tuition fees paid towards the children's educations that can be claimed under the section 80C, and the maximum limit is 1.5 lakhs. We can claim it. I hope I have answered all the questions. If still any unanswered questions, please put it on the chat. Library fees will also come under section 80C. Yes, library fees is one of the subset for example, if I'm paying in the children education tuition fees that I'm going to pay, they will have multiple types of breakups, right? tuition fees will be there, admission fees will be there, library fees will be there, and they will have some yoga classes fees like that. There will be many breakups have been provided. So in that, we will take it as a exemption expenditure on the children education. So and so that we are considering. Okay, thank you for the thank you for I have completed all the Q&As. If you have any questions, please write it. Please put it in the chat box. And also, I will just let you know, Relativity is having a YouTube channel. In that YouTube channel, we are sharing that thoughtful knowledge which we are having, which we are having, and also we are having a blog. And Divya will put these links in the chat box so that you can subscribe to this. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.